our second spoiler room closet thing. This one's...
I really should get a bigger closet or something. I don't know. Why are we doing this in the closet?
So that they don't find us. God, I
Who?
told you that.
You said that last time. Who's gonna find us?
He just doesn't understand. Anyway, this is for our spoiler talk for Captain America Winter Soldier. Dear God, I love this movie.
So many spoilers.
I know. The thing is, the review was actually very hard to do because it's hard to talk about this movie without spoiling things. So, just fair warning before you keep watching. We plan to spoil things.
We're spoiling all the things.
We're going to talk about this movie. If you have not seen it, dear God, do not watch this. I promise you it will ruin your experience.
And go see Winter Soldier.
Oh my gosh. So, first of all, freaking Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
That was... When I watched this movie, I just kept thinking to myself, like, holy crap, this is going to affect everything.
And it did.
It did.
On the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I mean, how are the Avengers gonna do what they're going to do in the second one without the aid of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah, it's crazy how important this movie is to the overall storyline of the Marvel's making right now.
Yeah.
There is no more S.H.I.E.L.D. It's gone. I'm impressed. I'll even say this. I really thought Nick Fury was dead. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, I knew he wasn't dead. I knew it was a comic book movie. And I will say that if I had been thinking about it, or analyzing it, I probably would have come to the same conclusion. But that's the great thing about this movie. I wasn't thinking. I was
just enjoying.
I wasn't analyzing. I was experiencing. And just when I watched the movie, I was like, dude, they killed Nick Fury.
Yeah, the skeptic in me was thinking whenever they were like, showing him getting surgery done, like, oh, he'll be fine. Then they show him in the next scene and he's dead, and you're like, what?
I was
They
like,
killed him.
Holy cow.
But then they didn't.
They didn't. But it was still cool when he came back. It was still cool. I was like, oh, yay, Nick Fury's not dead. Yay. I love the how Bucky Barnes was Winter Soldier. Now, this movie followed very closely a comic book series called Winter Soldier, where Bucky Barnes was the Winter Soldier in that too. And I'm glad they went with that comic book series because it really did work. It made the last scene, the confrontation with those two, mean a lot. Because even though the first movie wasn't that good, it did do a good job of setting up the relationship between those two. So, I mean, that was a fun fight. And it was a down and dirty fight, too. That scene towards the end where he was trying to get the chip from Bucky and he just put him in that chokehold. And you're just like, dude, that's how fights end.
Yeah.
That's how fights
Go to sleep.
Just go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
God. But, God, this movie... I know I felt a little bad in the review when I said I couldn't think of anything it did wrong, but the truth of the matter is, the pacing was excellent. There was not a single time in this movie where I thought I was bored. The whole atmosphere of it, the spy type of atmosphere, I dig those movies. I love those movies, the Jason Bourne movies, the James Bond movies. I'm a real huge fan of them. So to see that come to Captain America was fantastic.
Right.
The acting was great.
No complaints.
No, yeah, I really can't think of... The only complaint I have, there should have been more people going through windows.
Oh, what is it? Only 9 times?
9 times. You should have seen us when we were watching this movie. We get to 2/3 of the... Or a third of the way through the movie, and we're like, people are jumping through a lot of windows. We should make that the drinking game.
Yeah.
And so by the time of the end of the movie, when you get into it, we're like, is he going to do it? Yeah! He jumped through the window! Wow! I'm sorry. Keep it down. So... we actually had a lot of fun watching this movie, especially the Chronicles of Dave, which no one will ever know.
No one will ever know about poor Dave.
Poor Dave in Records. Poor Dave in Records. That reminds me of that fight in the elevator. Such a great fight. I love these directors because they're really good at just coming up with cool ideas. The fight in the elevator was a good one. We were joking, like, what if one of those guys really was just some guy named Dave from Records, and he's just like, I'm sorry, I'm not part of this.
Get me out of here. Get me out of here.
I just want to go to Records.
Yeah.
But they had so many cool images. The images of where Winter Soldier and the guys are just walking down the highway shooting. Like these directors really know how to hit a cinematic stride, and that's what makes me say, you know what, they're gonna do Avengers 3. Okay, I'm on board with this.
Yeah, I can handle it. That's gonna be awesome. And man, how about that imagery of that of the Winter Soldier when he's holding the shield?
Yeah.
A possible
spoiler.
Throw too.
So yeah, if this is a spoiler thing, so Chris Evans has said publicly that he might stop doing Captain America after Captain America 3. I've also heard rumors that now maybe he's backtracking on that, but whatever. But there is a possibility that after Captain America 3 he's done. And if he's done, they're obviously still going to make Captain America movies because there's Avengers 3 and etc. And who would they take over the mantle? Well, Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier. In the comic books, that's exactly what happened.
Right.
After Civil War, Captain Rogers was assassinated and Bucky Barnes took over. So I like that they're setting that up. Whether it's going to happen or not, maybe we don't, maybe even they don't know yet. But they're preparing for it. You know what? Let's go ahead and get this out of the way now. And that little scene where Bucky Barnes, or where Winter Soldier took the shield from it and posed behind it, you're like,
I see what you're doing there. Plus, the emergence of Crossbones, the guy who actually assassinates Captain America in the Civil War.
There's no prisoners with Hydra. There's only order, and order only comes through pain. I have to beef with this because I've done a lot of ordering in my life with no pain required.
I order pizza and that doesn't hurt me one bit.
No. I mean, look, I'm there. Your closet is now slightly more ordered.
That didn't hurt you?
Didn't hurt me at all. But no. I really like the attachments that they are making in this comic book. I'll be honest with you guys. I wasn't a huge Captain America fan. I didn't read many of the comics.
I didn't care.
I read Winter Soldier only because I heard, Winter Soldier is such a great comic. Got to read that one. I read that one. I think the only other Captain America thing I ever read was some other comic book where some hero was dying to cancer and all the superheroes showed up and talked about how horrible it was he was dying of cancer. It was like a PSA type comic.
And I mean, like, for me, I am all for patriotism, but it's like I don't want to be force-fed patriotism, and that's how I always felt Captain America was. Mm-hmm. And so I just never had an interest until until now.
You know what? I just thought of one fault I have with the movie. I thought his Winter Soldier uniform was amazingly cool. It was really neat. And in the climax, when he went back to his old red and blue, I was like, no.
Oh, Captain America's costume?
Yeah. I was like, no, keep the other one. That one actually, he looked cool in that one. It was all dark blue and silver. It was awesome. Yeah. And then he goes back to, because let's face it, guys, like even in Avengers, like his costume just looks like a bad cosplay.
But it sure is some symbolism of like he was with S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. gave him that new costume, and he's like, you know what? I'm going back to what I used to do.
Right.
Which is just ass kicking.
I will say this: his old World War II costume looks better than the one he had in Avengers. Avengers looked like it was spandex and rubber, and it was just
very spangled.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, so this movie, if you've seen this movie, I'm curious to know. Actually, is there anyone who didn't like this movie?
Yeah.
And I mean, like, obviously there's going to be those out there who was like, well, I had this issue with that. But I mean, is there anyone out there who genuinely is like, this movie sucked? Because I have not met a single person yet. This movie, Winter Soldier, is about as close as I have ever come in my lifetime to a movie that was perfect. That was a perfect movie in the sense that
those are big words, man.
It is. Oh, it is. Oh. I would go so far as to say that this would be a contender for like my favorite movie ever of all time.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's that big. So, that's kind of it for our spoiler talk. As always, leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. Avengers 2 coming out next week. We're really excited.
Don't forget the bet. This guy's going to end up being green.
It's possible. Probably not likely.
Or me.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you guys then.
Peace.
Bye.